What is the worst advice you've ever received? This wasn't me personally, but my mom told me that we had a neighbor that used to constantly tell my dad that life insurance was a waste of money and tried to convince him to stop paying for it. Fortunately, my dad was intelligent because he died 5 years later, and my family would have been completely destroyed without it. My husband and I are waiting another year, it's been 4 already, to have our second child. When I told my mother this, she advised me to accidentally forget to take my birth control for a week or so and not tell my husband. Yes, lies and deception are an excellent way to conceive a child. As someone who has battled depression in the past, the worst advice was just be happier. What a novel idea. What didn't I think of that? People who insist on you sharing your problems with them so that they can help, and then who clearly get bored with you while you're telling them, and then pull that just don't do what you're doing then crap out of the bag to make you be quiet again. It's good to be able to identify these idiots early on, I suppose. If you don't run away, the parrot will leave you alone. My aunt and uncle in Brazil had a mean parrot. We visited when I was 5, and it would screech its name at me as it chased me around the yard. I was terrified, but my aunt and everyone else agreed that if I stopped fleeing, the evil parrot would stop pursuing. So the next time the parrot came at me, I stood my ground. It bit my leg. I still hate parrots. Don't bother making friends, they are useless. Just study, my poor sheltered Asian dad. Don't make friends with people you like. Make friends with people who seem like they'll be somebody someday. My poor bitter Asian mom. Next time someone jumps out on the road in front of you, just hit them. From the cop who wrote my 16-year-old self a ticket for reckless driving and destruction of property. I had run my car into a ditch instead of hitting the 6 or 7-year-old kid on his bike who came out of seemingly nowhere. Very wooded area, very narrow rural road. With my current driving experience these 17+ years later, there most likely is no incident. However, my options at 16 were pretty much swerve into a ditch or kill someone. Apparently I chose poorly. If you ignore it, it will go away. Only works with bees and money. You probably won't believe that this was legitimately serious advice, but that's because you don't know Brian. A bit of backstory: I work a crappy warehouse job full-time to pay for my schooling. The guy I work with, Brian, works the same crappy warehouse job as his full-time career. He's like 30 something. You don't need school. If I were still your age, I'd quit my job and just buy lottery tickets full-time. I'm too old now, so the odds aren't the same. I wish I could go back. Yeah, if you go to France it's cool, you don't need to know any French at all. I got trapped in a public toilet whilst it went through its cleaning cycle because I couldn't understand the automated French voice telling me to get the hell out because it was about to get real clean. Walked around Paris soaked up to the knee for the rest of the day. Edit, when I was wringing out my socks afterwards. Never did I think this story would make so many people chuckle. Thanks y'all. First it was toilets that flush themselves. Now it's bathrooms that flush themselves. If you ignore the bullies, they'll get bored and leave you alone. Thanks mom. Just a few I've received from people. Yes, you can hold the jumper cables on with your hands while I try to crank my truck. No, you don't have to pay off your credit cards. Just say they were stolen. Don't worry about the bleeding. Rub some dirt on it. It'll stop. You'll get an infection, but it'll stop bleeding. My mother on accumulating debt. Well, if you're gonna row, you might as well owe big. From my mother: if you're nice to everyone, then they have no reason not to be nice to you. Just be nice and never give them a reason. They are sure to like you. Epic fail. Was not good advice to give an unpopular 10-year-old girl. It's the perfect way to be walked all over, used, and generally just left out. Go to college right after high school, because when you're 18 it's a good time to decide what you want to do for the rest of your life. My mother told me, you need to accept your limitations. You have a learning disability, you know. Screw my limitations. My father convinced me to invest $35k in stocks 2 weeks before they crashed in 2008. The stockbroker suggested I think it over for a couple weeks. This was supposed to be a long-term investment. I said just invest it all in a high-risk diversified portfolio. Join the army. It'll build character and be fun. Thanks dad, I'm -1 leg now you old sod. Why don't you settle down with a nice Jewish boy? I think Manny likes you. Bobby. Manny is my cousin. Dude, your car's overheating. Open the radiator cap and let the pressure out. This made for a very bad time. While I was pregnant everyone told me to get as much sleep as possible before baby came, as if I could put that extra sleep in the bank for later. I did end up getting used to extra naps. Being a human beach ball during the hottest summer on record was crap. So when the little dude arrived I went from roughly 12 hours of total sleep a day to maybe 5 total. I would cry because I was so damn exhausted. On second thought, pretty much all the advice I got while pregnant was the worst advice ever. You should check out Reddit. Goodbye, productivity. Doctor, what can I do to fall asleep more quickly then? Just stop thinking about stuff. It's not that hard. And that was the day I was thankful for my family's health insurance. Just walk across the street. You don't have to wait for the light. Just think screw it and go. The cars have to stop for you anyways. A random high schooler gave me this advice while we were both waiting at an intersection. He walked straight into traffic and turned around and told me to follow. My naive freshman self was amazed at his ingenuity, but now I look back and just hope that idiot didn't die in some random car accident. When I was in my teens/early 20s and in a rough patch I used to sell flower bouquets in front of liquor stores for cash on weekends. The shop I worked for had a deal with the chain of liquor stores so that we could be on their property. We couldn't pester anyone on the way in, but on the way out they were fair game. Employees of the liquor stores also got 50% off if they ever actually wanted to buy anything. The job consisted of selling flowers for cash, so by the end of the day most days I'd have upwards of $200 to $300 in my pocket. I got a commission of 25% or something, with a minimum of $8 hour and a maximum of $120 a day. Big holidays I could have upwards of $1,000 in my pocket. Once one guy saw what I was doing and decided to tell me about this one time he stole from a similar cash job. He said that he just walked off with the cash at the end of the day, a cool $1,000 or something. He encouraged me to do the same because I'd be getting more money that way. I looked at him like the idiot he was and said, "Yeah, but you know what pays better?" "What?" "Continued employment." He swore at me and walked away. I was 17. If you find a girl you really like, just get her pregnant. Then she'll have to stay with you. Said by my 20-year-old younger brother. Now he is 21 with an 8-month-old baby and separated from his wife who he lived with for 4 months. I grew out an awesome beard because I was a snowboard instructor. It helps keep you warm while making you look like a total badass. Well, I met this really hot foreign exchange student, Spain, in class and decided I should clean up my image. Well, before I did that I shaved a sweet mullet and an awesome handlebar mustache. On the bus on the way home from campus a guy who looked exactly like me sat down next to me. He asked me what I was going to school for. I replied that I was going to be an electrical engineer. He told me I should drop out and become a truck driver. I shaved my mustache and cut my hair upon arriving home. Just get a degree in 4 years. It doesn't matter what your major is, because most people get jobs in other fields anyway. This advice may have worked in 1974, but it doesn't hold today. I'm glad I had the foresight not to take that advice. Even though I'm 22 and I still have half a decade of postgraduate studies to complete, I would much rather take the hard route and work in a field I actually care about than get a quick and easy degree and be miserable for the rest of my life. The most important thing is to fit in with the popular girls. You need to pretend to like things you hate and hate things you like, and that way everyone will like you. You need to do everything you can so that you appear normal and people will like you. Stop hanging out with the friends you have, they're weird. Start being friends with the popular girls in your school. In life, you need to suffer. That's just a fact. My mom. Don't climb trees. Girls don't climb trees. Yeah, James can climb trees. He's a boy. You should be learning how to cook and clean for James when you grow up and get married. I don't want to marry James, Grandma. That wasn't a choice. Your parents and I are going to choose your future husband, my grandma. When you grow up, marry someone rich, not someone you love. Love is worthless without money, my mom. Don't try to be a scientist. When you grow up, scientists don't make money. Get a boring job you hate, but pays a lot. Money is more important than happiness, my mom. I don't care if what I'm saying is wrong. This is 8th grade science, not college. Until you get to college, never question what adults say. For right now, as far as you're concerned, this answer is right. Always listen to your teachers. Don't try to prove us wrong. Science teacher. Dude, we should climb that tree up to the 2nd story balcony and hide there. Then when the mean lady comes out for a smoke break, we can scare her. My best friend in 4th grade, shortly before I dangled off a balcony for 15 minutes screaming for help, effectively getting the mean lady to call the cops on us for attempted burglary. Thank you for watching Internet's Funniest. Please like, share, and subscribe.